Hello, fellow human! Welcome back to another Dank Doggo / Choosing Beggars. We have a total of 9 stories for you guys today. The first story is posted by /Phantom Kira with the title of Choosing Beggars That Demands That Pen. Recently, I've gotten a fountain pen obsession. I was at school making notes with my Lamy 2000, a 150 pounds pen, and a guy who I've talked to a few times asked to borrow a pen. I grab a biro from a pencil case and offer it to him. The following exchange then happened. CB: No, I mean a fountain pen. Me: Oh, okay. Offers my Lamy Safari, a very nice but budget fountain pen. CB: No, the one you're writing with. Me: I'm using it, sorry. CB: Fine, I'll take the other one. Me: Putting them away. Sorry, the offer is off the table. This guy then has the audacity to complain to the teacher that I refused to let him borrow my pen. When the teacher said that was my choice, he threw a temper tantrum in the middle of the lesson. He got given a detention and told to get out of the classroom. Sweet justice. For your information, he's 17, I'm 16. What the hell? I thought those two were like little kids from primary school or something. Holy crap. I bet he had absolutely no intention of returning the pen. Glad OP didn't waste 150 pounds on someone he barely knew. On to the second story, written by /MaskZarky. No, I want you to pay for delivery. Happened a few days ago, selling a nice marble table on Kijiji in mint condition for $1,500. After a few back and forth dealing with low-balling offers, finally agreed to $1,200 and set up a time for them to pick up. They, husband and wife, show up 30 minutes late. I can see they are driving a car and there's no way this 70-inch table is going to fit. After inspecting the table, trying to find anything wrong, they could only comment on the veining might make the table not as strong or something. So ignore whatever comment they make and ask if they're going to take the table. CB: Oh well, we have to rent the van to get her to our place, and that's going to cost me $250, so I can offer $950 for the table with that considered. Me: The price is $1,200 as agreed. It doesn't matter to me if you have to rent a van. CB: How are you set for your furnace? Me: What are you talking about? Clearly confused at this moment and thinking these people must be insane. CB: I can give you a discount if you give us a table. I'm a furnace installer. Me: Price is $1,200. I'm not entertaining offers for furnace installations. CB: Okay, well, it doesn't seem like you're being reasonable. We have to pay to move it, and you should cover our cost. I just said no and showed them the door. A week later, I ended up selling the table for $1,400. Lamau? I've encountered plenty of people not bringing enough money, but this was certainly on another level. Well, Soapy ended up selling for $200 higher. Good for him to refuse the haggle of CBs. On to the third story, shared by /Shira Blackwood. Fire her so I can have my old job back. A few days ago, I had the pleasure of working with Kim. Kim had an administrative job at our shared place of business, and we worked together for about a year. She wasn't a great employee, mainly due to attitude and constant stream of missed time for assorted reasons, most of which seemed to be bullcrap. Kim eventually found her dream job, which we considered after she failed to call or show up for 3 days straight. We parted amicably enough, even allowing her to resign to avoid ending things on a negative note, and that was the end of that. In Kim's absence, Lee had been promoted and quickly proved to be excellent at the job. Consequently, we weren't all that excited when Kim reappeared about a week after her departure, sobbing and begging for her job back. The dream job hadn't been very dreamy after all, and she was running low on funds. Moved by her pleas, on behalf of the children, the manager agreed to bring her back on a trial basis to fill the vacancy left when Lee was promoted. It was stepped down from her previous position, but it was immediately available. A short, very blunt conversation ensued where she demanded to know why she couldn't just have her old job back. We explained again that the position had been filled and that the entry-level spot we were offering was the only thing available. We pointed out that she had been no call, no show, and that she'd burned a lot of bridges with the company by the poor way she'd handled her departure. The offer of any position with the company, again, was a kindness, pure and simple. Then she said, "Well, the only reason I came back was because I figured you'd miss me and want me back. I don't really think I need to take a step down, do you?" This resulted in a long silence. I was on the verge of telling her to just forget about it when she got up and leave. She seemed to sense she was pushing her luck and said, "I really appreciate the opportunity. Maybe some doors will open for me and I will be able to move back up soon." Whatever. I half expected her to blow it off and just never come back. She came in late the following day and accomplished almost nothing. Instead, she divided her time between hovering over Lee and hiding in the break room with her cell phone. After being asked nicely to return to her work, she abruptly left without a word. The next day, she didn't come at all. And we left a voicemail at the end of the day informing her that her employment had been terminated and that her final check would be mailed. The following day, she arrived bright and early and demanded a meeting with the manager. Upon being told that she would not get a meeting and that she was not welcome on the premises, she threw a massive tantrum in the full view of the office. She said that it was unfair that we had taken her job away and given it to Lee, and that she had kids to feed and that we needed to be nicer. We explained that she wasn't entitled to the job and that she had squandered all of her bargaining power by walking out twice. Furthermore, the job was taken. It was now Lee's. She then dropped her purse along with the immoral line, "So just fire her so that I can have it back." It was one of those moments that just stick with you. We're all kind of shocked at her audacity and single-minded selfishness. Lee was really uncomfortable, as you can imagine, and quickly left the room. Without saying much of anything, I picked up Kim's purse, handed it to her, and walked her out. She sat outside for a long time, then left. She called back 6 months later and asked if we were ready to give her a fair chance. We declined. OP's office was more than kind in giving her the second chance. She made her decisions and now has to live with it. On to the fourth story, shared by /because life is. "Let me use your room and shut the duck up while I'm at it." Happened yesterday. A friend called early in the morning asking to use my studio. I work from home because there was an unexpected outage in her area. I told her to go to the library because I know she's been studying for an important exam and I have 2 years old at home. No way she's able to focus while at my place. She said the nearest library had no vacant desk and she didn't want to waste more time checking another library. I warned her my child can and will make lots of sounds and the apartment isn't known for good sound insulation. She said no problem. The outage probably wouldn't last longer than a few hours. I finally agreed with the consent of my significant other. Long story short, she came over, but snapped after 30 minutes and demanded my significant other and I take our child to the park or something so she could have the whole place to herself. She also asked why I wouldn't hush my child. Well, because it was daytime and my child is only 2 years old, plus it's my home? I kicked her out. Obviously, she was not able to pass the exam because it's all my fault. Shrugs. Many of you mentioned noise-canceling earphones or the like. I sent her a link on one of those on Amazon and wish her good luck with the exam. No reply so far. And by the way, we're not students. She was, well, still is, studying for a certification exam, which would affect her career. So yeah, I understand her being stressed out. Well, but that doesn't mean I'm going to evacuate my own family to accommodate her though. Well, this is pure example of people being deaf when it comes to warnings and cautions. But then again, she ain't deaf to the kid though. On to the fifth story shared by /D Winner Peacock. Being a cosplayer is annoying around Halloween time. I have this coworker who's around 35 and she has a 12-year-old daughter. She has brought her daughter into work before. I actually like her, she's really cool and like the same anime I do. It's coming Halloween time and she wants me to just give, not borrow, her daughter my Miku Hatsune cosplay, the girl with the blue long hair. But not only to give her my cosplay that I spent forever working on and sewing last year, including the wig, headset, and my fake prop leak. She wants me to tailor it into smaller size so that her daughter can fit into it. She also told my daughter she can already have it even though I never said yes. And now she asks me every day about it every time I tell her I can't. She gets all pissy and cold shoulders me through the whole shift, and then before I leave, she then turns to me and says, "Work on that costume when you get home." WTF? She even sent me a text saying her daughter is small, so just make it whatever size a small is. I don't know what goes through her head when the word no doesn't even register. Her daughter is going to have a disappointing Halloween. Man, I feel bad for her daughter. Imagine having a mom like this. I'd be so embarrassed. She probably doesn't even know her mom is being like this. The mom is absolutely terrible for promising her daughter that costume. On to the 6th story shared by u/Isabella1347. "I didn't pay for the seat, but you should give it to me anyway." There's some context needed to this story. My brother is very tall, 6'5" tall. Whenever he and I go back east for vacation, we get the aisle seats in Comfort Plus for that. Also, necessary few extra inches of the legroom. It is the only seat he can fit in. We board very early and settle in very quickly. And the boarding process continues. A woman approaches him and asks him to switch seats with her. She explained that she wants to sit next to her husband, who is in the seat next to my brother, but she ended up being seated a few rows back. Well, he said yes and goes back to her seat. He quickly realizes that she failed to mention that she was seated in economy, which poses a huge problem as he cannot fit. He comes back and very kindly explains the problem and also explained that he paid extra for the Comfort Plus for a reason. Her face completely changes color in anger and starts lecturing him on how unfair it is that he won't give up his seat. He stands there unwavering until she goes back to the seat she did pay for, and he sits back down comfortably in his seat. I mouth "what the hell" to him, and he laughs and shrugs his shoulder. She never asked a flight attendant for help in being seated next to her husband. I finally realized that they probably plotted to only buy one Comfort Plus seat and rely on the kindness of stranger for a free upgrade. Opie made a really good point. If that couple really want to be sitting next to each other, then he could have offered the person next to her in economy to take her husband's seat so they could sit together. I mean, who would even decline a premium seat? On to the 7th story shared by u/Aura Kapow. About the tramp who complained about new coworker's thoughtful gift. We just had a new coworker start a few months ago. He's a really sweet and genuine guy. He spent a ton of time getting to know all of us, and he would share his knowledge while still eager to learn. Just a good person who made an authentic effort to get to know us. For Christmas, he took the time to write out personalized Christmas cards to each of us in the department. There are about 70 of us. Each card had a personalized message. He put so much care into this, guys. And on top of that, he gifted everyone in an office a $10 gift card to go to the local coffee house at our job. He didn't have to do any of this. Most of us were grateful. Well, most of us. Our resident butthole of a petulant child decided to pipe up during the coworker's gift giving and tell him that he should have gotten her gift cards to a coffee place she uses outside of work. A personalized card, hand-delivered with free coffee, none of which was expected, and this tramp went ahead and complained. For your information, there are only around 10 of us in the office, so no, not everyone got a gift card. You can rest easy knowing that my coworker didn't spend all that much, smiley face. Good guy coworker was okay in the end. Ungrateful coworker was immediately called out and given a talking to by management. Well, these are the same people who would complain about people not liking them. On to the 8th story shared by u/Genza. No, you can't have a Christmas holiday for free, even if your child is already here. So I work for a large international upscale package holiday company. For the winter, our biggest seller is the ski catalog. I work in the sales department, so I'm constantly getting people asking for discounts or people saying that they have a travel blog and they will review us, so clearly they reserve a free holiday. We are fairly pricey, so none of this is hardly rare. Today, I get pulled into the office by the manager because a customer I sold a fairly expensive holiday for was fuming. I actually expected to be told that I had made expensive mistake, but instead my manager thought I would enjoy the whole story. I vaguely remember that she had complained that it was too expensive and didn't want any of the cheaper alternatives. She had booked one of our more expensive resorts and told me she would leave the youngest of her 3 kids at home, age 5, as she would be too young to enjoy it properly. Again, not unusual to leave a child or 2 with the grandparents, but I had thought she must be a bit mean to leave her daughter for Christmas. Well, as it turned out, she had taken the youngest child anyway and smuggled her into the resort somehow. Staff at the resort was suspicious when she asked for about 10 pillows and another blanket. Well, after investigating this, she was confronted and was told she had to pay. Apparently, I had told her that it would be fine to take the child into the room. I didn't. And when they checked the recordings and found out she was lying, she turned on the waterworks, begging to be allowed to stay due to the spirit of Christmas or whatever, and she couldn't afford the extra child's price. The resort's general manager eventually allowed her to stay, but only if she would pay about £900, which is roughly 60% of the actual cost, which she did. Now, this should be the end of the story, right? But it isn't. After coming home, she sent an email to our office demanding a refund of the $900, which she spent on the whole experience. She had ruined her family Christmas. We said no. TLDR, beggar woman smuggled an extra child into a ski resort for Christmas, cried until she was forced to pay a reduced rate, and is now demanding a refund of that reduced rate. Also, I should mention that the resort is all inclusive, all food, drink, evening entertainment, kids clubs, ski lesson and ski pass, so it's not a simple case of crashing in the room. Well, the real question is, how the hell did she do the smuggle? In a very large suitcase? On to the final story shared by u/Fellyflower. I'm hungry, but not that hungry. I work at a generic hospital in emergency. At 9 PM, a patient came in and complained that she was starving and hadn't eaten in a long time. She asked for a hot meal, but the kitchen closed at 7 PM. I gave her a meal pack, which is consisted of sandwich, yogurt, fruit cup, and fruit juice. I apologized and said that this is the best I could do after hours and that we have nothing else. She looked at the food and refused it. She demanded for hot food. She kept telling me how hungry she was. I told her the kitchen is closed and we don't have any other food to offer her. She starts screaming and about how I was denying her basic human right to be fed by not giving her what she wanted to eat. If she was really hungry, she would have eaten it. Well, believe me, I have the utmost respect for hospital staffs, mainly because they have to deal with so much crap like this all the time. It's unbelievable how people can be so entitled. That's it for today, fellow humans. Thanks for watching. Dank Doggo appreciates your time. If you enjoy our content and want to see more of us, stay tuned and subscribe. Don't forget to smash that like button and ring the bell, or Doggo will cry. Also, you can always tell us, your friendly neighbor Doggo, your experiences in the comment section. I'll catch up with you guys later in the next video.